Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Cali Culture Podcast, episode 15, featuring returning guest and Cali Culture Podcast producer, Jason Wilson. Jason returns to continue our discussion from last week regarding Colombian culture, Spirit Link, and we're also going to discuss why so many people are leaving America and traveling abroad, specifically Colombia. So without further ado, episode 15, relax, listen, and enjoy.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Cali Culture Podcast Show. I'm your host, Jeremy Preston. This is the only podcast on air that discusses everything about Cali, Colombia. So happy for you to join us today. You're not going to want to miss this show, ladies and gentlemen. This is a great show. I have a returning guest and also my podcast manager, Jason Wilson. Before we bring Jason on, I just want to tell you all, this is going to be a good show. We're going to talk about a lot of different things, a lot of things that may be considered controversial. So I do want to say in advance that everything we say is from a spiritual standpoint, is from a Christian standpoint, and the main thing is from a love standpoint. So we're going to hit some really what could be considered sensitive and controversial topics, but it's to help people grow and become better people. So, with that being said, let's introduce our returning guest, Mr. Jason Wilson. Welcome, Jason, back to the show.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate you.
Absolutely. And obviously, you're always on the show because you're the podcast manager. But thanks for thanks for the part three. We have a lot to discuss today. We have some
Oh, yeah.
very good topics. And so yeah, let's just get right into them. So the first thing is obviously the World Cup is happening right now. It started this week. USA won. They had a overwhelming win last night. Congratulations to the U.S. And now it's on
Yes.
to Colombia this Wednesday coming up. So just give us your thoughts on what does a World Cup mean to Colombia, to the USA, to the world. What is your thoughts on the World Cup? Just speaking broad and in general.
You know what, man? I had the experience of experiencing two World Cups here in Colombia before this one. And I can tell you that my experience here in Colombia, man, of course, football is the biggest sport here in Colombia. But when you get a chance to see Selección Colombia playing in any game, I mean, everybody's hyped. If they win, of course, it's phenomenal. If they lose, though, people are not going to stop rooting for their team in any case. But if there's a win, I mean, the whole city goes crazy, man. So, I mean, it was an awesome experience being around the World Cup at those past events. Mm-hmm. This one, man, I think if Colombia wins, which I think they have a good chance, man.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, they have a phenomenal team. I think they have a good chance of winning. And of course, it would do, wonders for tourism here in Colombia as well as everything else. So, I mean, there's a lot riding on this World Cup.
Absolutely. And the thing I like about the World Cup is it just brings a lot of people together, a lot of nationalities that meet at a bar to watch the games. I think it's great and it's incredible to be able to bring people together and people could get away from their problems and whether it be financial problems or family problems. They can get away and kind of escape those realities for 2-3 hours and just be able to socialize with other people. Now there are fanatical fans out there, as we know, Jason.
Yeah.
And we even and that transcends the World Cup. That's not just the World Cup football games, but that's basketball as well. As we know, the Knicks are playing the Spurs in the NBA Finals right now, and there was a lot of extreme. There's a lot of extreme Knicks fans to the point where you were seeing violent exchanges outside of the game in New York.
Yeah.
So, what is your thoughts on fans being so fanatical and extreme?
I mean, the same thing happens in Colombia too, man. I mean, I haven't seen anything recent as far as like a huge breakout of a fight at a match. But like during the 80s, man, when people were really passionate about their Selección Colombia, and there was several matches though with other teams where there were fights that broke out. So I mean, it can be dangerous, at sporting events. But getting back to your point though, these breakouts in New York, I don't get it, man. It's a game. New York fans are really fanatical as well, though. And New York hasn't won a championship, man, since what, the 70s?
I think so. Yeah.
So yeah, man. Everybody's passionate about their Knicks, and I'm actually a diehard Atlanta fan. I'm from Atlanta, so of course it's the Braves, it's the Hawks, it's the Falcons, but I will concede for this one time to root for the Knicks. I mean, my grandmother and my mom were from New York, from Brooklyn, and so this is the only time you're gonna ever see me root for the Knicks, man, ever.
Well, and I second that. I grew up a Bulls fan, somehow end up a Lakers fan over the last, I say, 20 years. Most of my adulthood, I've been a Lakers fan. So I am rooting for the Knicks. I can remember growing up and then just watching the Bulls just constantly beat the Knicks. Yeah. And, I think it's that time. I think it's time for the Knicks definitely to get one.
Sure.
But I will say, in regards to the fanatical fans, it is a game at the end of the day,
Right.
It is good to be passionate. It's good to follow your team, to be loyal to your team. But at the end of the day, it is a game. The fans aren't getting paid.
Right.
So I want to encourage everyone, obviously, root for your team, be passionate, but it's not worth going to jail or losing your life or being injured over a game. There's no game worth that. So we here at Cali Culture, we want everybody to enjoy the World Cup and enjoy the NBA Finals and any other sport. Be passionate. Wear your colors. Wear your shirt, paraphernalia, but keep it nonviolent. Keep it nonviolent.
Yeah. Oh, getting back to your point too about the World Cup in the States. Of course, it's in Atlanta, where I'm from. Yeah. And so, I wish I could be there, but of course I'll get there, but not for this World Cup. I'm sure, everybody's having a wonderful time there in Atlanta, going to the games and whatnot. So, this is big for the city of Atlanta too.
Absolutely. And Atlanta's a great city. A lot of commerce and industries there, and this just brings a lot of revenue to Atlanta. You think about because the American economy is struggling from an unemployment and inflation standpoint. So think about all the revenue that this brings to Atlanta. It's keeping people employed. Is giving people jobs. Is giving the bar owners and the restaurant owners and the club managers, is giving them more revenue. It's bringing commerce to the city. So. Shout out to everyone in Atlanta that's going to be watching the World Cup or working the games. It's a good opportunity. You're absolutely right.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Now, let's talk about your podcast. You have a podcast that you do. Is it every Wednesday, Tuesday?
Okay, so there's two shows, man. Okay. Actually, if I count the Bible study, it's not a show, but I do put out video clips for that. I put one out yesterday, which, part of what was on that video clip we're going to be talking about today. But yeah, I have Circle Back to You podcast. That's for Circle of Friends Club. And so on that particular show, we're interviewing coaches, mental health therapists, athletes, entertainers, and entrepreneurs as well. And that whole conversation is centered around mental health. But there's another thing that affects mental health now, and that's the loneliness epidemic.
Mm-hmm.
I think that, that gives people depression, anxiety, PTSD, and suicidal ideation. So that's something that we're talking about on those shows as well. Now with Spirit Link, we're going to be launching a new show for Spirit Link, and it's called Spirit Link Live. And we have 6 coaches within our community that have different areas of concentration. So we have a business coach, a women's empowerment coach, health coach, dating coach, of course, and other kinds of coaches as well. High performance coach for men. So on that show, each coach has their own podcast segment. So that segment is at least 30 minutes to 40 minutes where they talk about their expertise. They're going to be interviewing people as well. So I'm really, really excited about that. And I'm going to have my own Spirit Link Live segment as well. Of course, mine will be all about relationships.
Absolutely. And congratulations on being able to do multiple podcasts. I know you manage podcasts and to be able to actually do podcasts. And obviously, you've invited me to Bible study, which I'm really looking forward to this week coming up. Congratulations in doing that, because you're exactly right. This information needs to be out there. With so much junk out there in the airways on social media, Jason, to be able to have good, positive, Christian, moral things is paramount. It's imperative. And so kudos to you for doing that.
Thanks a lot, bro.
Absolutely. Now, which that brings us to our next topic. And like I started out in my intro to this episode show, these are rather controversial topics, but the only way to address things and get better, people, is to be able to talk about these things openly, freely, and obviously from a good place, from a loving place. So we're going to hit these topics head on. And that's the first thing is, you mentioned it, Jason, loneliness, this epidemic of loneliness in America and other countries. But specifically, I'm seeing this, and I'll call it epidemic of loneliness, because it is something that really is negatively affecting people to the core, to the point where you have suicide rates are high. You have depression rates are high. You have people that literally never get outside of their home or their apartment because they're depressed and they feel like there's no hope. And a lot of it, like you said, like you mentioned, a lot of it is because they feel like there's no hope in regards to finding a significant other. So my first question to you, Jason, is why do you think there's this epidemic of loneliness, specifically in America? And just to follow up on that, how is it affecting America? So the question is, why is this loneliness happening, and how is it negatively affecting America?
I don't know how deep you want to get with this.
Hey, brother, I want you to go deep as you need to.
Of course, I look at everything now, and I just had an interview, man, where I was talking about this briefly. I look at everything, especially when it comes to things in the media. So it can be a movie, it can be a TV show, it can be a social media post. I look at everything through a spiritual lens. What does that mean? That means the following is that, is there anything that has been said or depicted that is demonic in nature, that's affecting people in their mental health? And, I'm going to say this, and if you believe in God, you know what I'm talking about. There is a spirit of depression, the spirit of heaviness.
Right.
What that spirit does is it wants to get you so depressed to the point where you don't want to have anything to do with your family, your friends. And once it gets you completely isolated from everybody, okay, now that's when the spirit of suicide comes in. And so, I look at everything through that kind of lens. And getting back to social media, though, that's part of the problem.
Yeah.
And the phone is part of the problem. And, this goes back to my whole theory about Steve Jobs. And, again, if you look at the name of the company, Apple, right? Now, I've seen several documentaries on Steve Jobs, and Steve was a gentleman who was left up by his parents for adoption. Now, Steve Jobs didn't find out about this until he was basically an adult.
Right.
And by that time, he had so much resentment towards his parents for giving him up for adoption that, of course, I think he reconnected with his dad and his mother. But that resentment, man, he never let that go. And so he went to college, went to India after that, and took a vacation over there, to free his soul. And like a yogi or something like that inspired him to come up with some kind of way that he could inspire the world. Well, there's a thing about negative motivation. And see, when you have anything buried away in your subconscious, like resentment towards your family for giving you up for adoption, that's a deep-seated type of hate almost. And see, if that's not dealt with, you can take that out on everybody it is that you encounter in your life.
Right. So
he starts Apple with the motivation that he wanted to help people, connect people and whatnot. But it was coming from a dark place, man. And so if you look at the logo, well, it's a bite out of an apple. Right. And we know what happened in the garden, in the Garden of Eden, in the second chapter of Genesis. The enemy comes up to Eve and convinces her to take a bite out of the fruit that God prevented them to take a bite out of or to eat. And so when she did that, it was an open door for the enemy to affect not only Adam and Eve's life, but every human being that was created after that, because they disobeyed God.
Right.
Now, when you take a look at the logo of Apple, what exactly was the motivation for using that particular logo for the company with a bite taken out of it?
Right.
Did he have some kind of resentment towards God? And so again, when we take a look at resentment, that resentment came from him being given up for adoption as a child. You know what I'm saying? So you're creating something with the motivation to help people, but what are you actually doing by using that logo as the image of your company?
I never thought about that,
brother.
I never thought about that.
Yeah. And okay, so if his motivation then is resentment, like in the background, every device that he's ever created, the Apple computer,
it's got that attached to it.
That's right. That resentment, man. So that iPhone that mostly everybody wants an iPhone if they don't have one already. Right?
Yeah.
And so they took the iPhone and they got on social media. And so when they got on social media and that demonic attachment is to that device, what's going to happen to people, man? The whole point of that device was to connect people, right?
Right.
But with that motivation, what's it doing? It's separating people. It's isolating people. You go to a restaurant right now. What are people doing, man?
They're on their phone.
Exactly. Is anybody talking to each other? No. How many face-to-face conversations have you or I had this week? I mean,
this is a really, really good point. And you really had me thinking. I was just sitting here looking at my phone, looking at this logo. But I see exactly what you're saying. It is very addictive. They've actually had the Congress had a hearing with the major CEOs of the social media brands, Facebook and Twitter and such. And one of the things they were saying was social media is addictive, especially to children, the young people.
Yeah, yeah.
And how to, and they designed the algorithm so it becomes addictive, mentally addictive. But you're exactly right. Kind of get your point on Apple. If that is in the product and people are using the product on a daily basis, almost an hourly basis, that spirit has to have some effect on people over time, unless they realize what it is. And you're right. There's a lot of people on social media that are depressed and that are lonely. Matter of fact, that's why people get hooked on social media is they don't have anybody in their life. They haven't worked and improved themselves, and so they become addicted to social media. Okay, I think we might have Jason. I think we might have lost Jason momentarily. He went offline, but he will reconnect and then we'll continue the conversation. But in the meantime, while we're waiting on Jason to reconnect on the show, I just want to follow the conversation, continue the conversation, and the fact that social media can be very, very addictive. You got to be careful, ladies and gentlemen, when you're letting your children, if you have children, I thank God don't have any children. Because and the reason why I say that is because I think it's tough to raise children nowadays in this era of technology. But if you have children, it's something you have to really be careful of and make sure that they're out getting human interaction as opposed to being on social media all day. Because it's definitely not healthy. They've actually had studies to indicate, and the studies indicated and shown that too much social media can become addictive, and then it could really have some negative impacts in your life.
And we're back.
And we're back. I was continuing on with the conversation.
Good.
With actually, Jason, what I was telling the viewers is if they have children, if they have teenagers, and obviously even younger children, they have to be very careful because social media is very addictive. We have studies that shown that. And the last thing you want in this day and age is, a child that or a teenager that's already going through, they're going through puberty, they're going through emotional changes, they're going through social changes to be depressed because they've been addictive or they got addicted to social media.
Yeah, and you saw what the enemy did? Cut the power. Listen, you
can't too good, this. Jason. That's what it was.
That's right. Listen, we're gonna finish this interview.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But no, you're exactly right. And to that end, I wanted to ask you this whole thing of loneliness. I mean, you brought up a good point that people don't have a lot of social interaction nowadays, which is causing a rift between people, between the man and the woman. Which is another attribute to, or another factor of the whole loneliness thing that men have almost threw in the towel and said we're not dating anymore. Women seem to have a delusional, fictional character of a man that they've come up with.
Yeah.
And so what's happening is neither are finding a significant other, and they're all venting about it on social media as opposed to coming with a common solution to the problem. So that to that point, Jason, what is the common solution to the problem? This problem of loneliness and men checking out because they can't find a significant other or is not working in the dating culture, in the toxic dating culture, and women finding a fictional character of a man that doesn't exist. How do we get here?
I love that question, man, and this is my answer. So when it comes to looking at the effects that the phone has had on people, and when you add social media to it, I mean, it just amplifies the effects of it, the negative effects of it, right?
Yeah.
And so not only does it isolate you and isolate us from each other, but it isolates you from the promises of God, isolates you from God, right? And people no longer believe in God. They don't believe in relationships. They don't believe in marriage. They don't even believe in having kids. So, I mean, that's the answer, man. People are being separated from God through the phone and their addiction to the phone. So, of course, if you're addicted to the phone and social media, you don't go to church, you don't pray, you don't do anything that we used to do back in the day before social media and everything else. And so with this unrealistic expectation that the men and the women place on each other, I mean, it's just a toxic worldwide situation now that, everybody is suffering from.
Right.
And so the solution is reconnect with God.
Absolutely. I can't agree with you. I agree with you 1,000%. That is definitely that people, men and women, need to reconnect with God, need to be driven and led by God, need to read their Bible, need to pray. That is the common solution. You can have all of these books out there. Steve Harvey has his book, and you have all these people have their book about relationships. None of it works. People buy the book, and then it doesn't work because they have omitted God out of their life. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's the solution. Simple and plain. Jason said it very well. That you have to have God in your life. You have to be led by God. Because think about it. A lot of, and we talked about this offline yesterday, Jason. A lot of women are saying they want a loyal guy, a guy that's loyal, that doesn't cheat, that doesn't that makes money, makes six figures. That is small. You have all these attributes that women are saying that they want out of a man, but then somehow always the last thing is, and I want him to be biblical and spiritual. I want him to be Christian as well. I want him to be Christ-like. But that always at the last, very bottom of the list.
Exactly.
And shouldn't that be at the top of the list, though, right?
It should be. It should be. And you know what, man? Having God at the bottom of the list, you put everything else above God, so that actually becomes your God. And so what you've actually done is you replace God with this man. And so when things are out of order, nothing works, man. It might work for let's say the first few months of your relationship, even a year, maybe 2 years. It's great. And then you get married, see, and that's a spiritual covenant with God that you have entered into that the enemy hates.
Right.
Enemy doesn't want to see you make a spiritual covenant with God. So what's he gonna do? You got God at the bottom of your list. What's he gonna do? He's gonna attack your marriage, attack your household, attack your finances, and attack your kids.
So true.
That's what he's gonna do. Yeah. Because see, now it's open season. He's gonna attack everything that concerns you. And what are you gonna do? Well, you're gonna blame the wife, and the wife is gonna blame the husband for everything he ain't doing, right? Right. And so you end up cheating on your spouse, and that's a whole nother open door for attack on your family. And it's just a vicious cycle that people are putting themselves into. And let's just completely discount the marriage. Let's say you just going with this girl or dating this girl, or she's dating this man. Well, God ain't got nothing to do with that either, because the first thing you did was you jumped into bed with this person. Right. And so what you're doing is you're entering into a spiritual covenant with that person's spirit that's influencing them. So it could be a spirit of depression, a spirit of anxiety, a spirit of suicidal ideation, PTSD, you name it. And so, people are being affected by all of these mental health issues that they're actually opening themselves up to through unprotected sex, just sex in general outside of marriage. And see, it's not so much that you're having physical contact with somebody in a sexual way outside of marriage. That's really not the thing. Actually, that's part of the thing that God was warning us about in the Word of God. But the biggest part, man, is the spiritual influence that you're opening yourself up to with a person outside of marriage. And see, nobody talks about that on social media. It's all about, well, I'm looking for this guy that's making $1 million a month. I need him to give me that. Right. And, the most ridiculous thing I saw was from the Stallion. And, I don't know how true that is, but it said that she wanted $700,000 a month. For what?
Ridiculous.
For maintenance. What kind of maintenance costs $700,000 a month? I mean, I don't know. But
I tell you, and this is something else we talked about yesterday. Relationships are starting to be transactional. Particularly in America, in the United States. Other countries as well, but I see that problem in America a lot. That women are asking for a guy to be able to make six figures, or like you said, $1 million, to be able to fly them out and be able to wine and dine them at 5-star restaurants, be able to take them out on vacations, a trip to Italy for $10,000 for 4 days, to be able to buy, Gucci and Birkin bags and stuff like that. Like, when did we start getting so transactional? It's not even about love anymore, Jason.
No.
It's about what you can do for me from a dollar financial standpoint. And does that come from that whole, spirit thing too? Is that like a spirit that's leeching themselves on a lot of our women these days, where they think more, they're just money hungry?
I mentioned before that, what the enemy is doing, he's attacking relationships. That's why we got so much loneliness now. There's no other way that you can explain this. I mean, why is this happening? It's a spiritual problem. And so, I think back in the 80s, you remember the song, What Have You Done For Me Lately?
Yeah.
By Janet Jackson.
Yeah.
That was the first time I had ever heard that, spoken or actually circulated through what we were listening to, like back in the 80s. You know what I mean? From a woman's point of view. And so I'm not going to say that that's where that mentality started. I think where it started, bro, is that, we're Generation X, right? And so if you're Generation X, 9 times out of 10, you watch your parents work hard, man, hard jobs that in a lot of cases, they didn't even want to work. I mean, they were just doing what they had to do in order to pay the bills, send their kids to school. In my case, my parents were not rich. My mother was a receptionist. My dad was an engineer for the government. And they worked hard, man, to send my sister and I to school, private school. And so, it was Woodward Academy. It was Morehouse, Tulane University. And, this was not free.
Right.
They had to work hard in order to send us to these places. And I think what Generation X is doing to our kids, you don't want your kids to grow up with the same hardships in some situations that we had to grow up in, right? Especially when it comes to the discipline part, man. Listen, I don't know about you, but I got spankings.
Oh yeah,
right?
Yeah, I got whooping.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I mean, in my case, it wasn't always a belt. It was an extension cord.
Whatever you get their hands on.
It
might be the hand too.
Yeah, that's right. Yep. And see now the kids would call that abuse,
right?
Physical abuse, and report you for doing that to them. Which and back in our days, that was discipline, man. So what kind of mentality did we grow up with? Well, okay, our parents worked hard. We got to work hard too. We're not gonna go to our job and tell our boss, well, you know what, man, I don't agree with this. I'm gone.
Right.
Dude, we got to make a living.
Right.
And we did what we had to do as well. And we did the best that we could at making that living. Mm-hmm. Well, this Generation Z, man, completely different mentality. And who did that to Gen Z is the parents. It's us that don't discipline these kids, man. We don't want to whoop them, right? So we try to have a conversation with the kids. It's not working, man, because the kids are going to do what they want to do.
That's right.
And so, my son tried me, man. He tried me a couple of times. Actually, I'm going to tell you this, man. I whipped my son once. Wow. That's all it took. From then, man, it was a conversation after that. Mm-hmm. And my son was like, okay, I know I can't play with dad. I'm not even going to try it. And we do have that conversation. He's like, oh, okay. Yeah, I totally get it, Dad. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. I'll do better next time, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. But I don't have a discipline problem with my kids or a respect problem with my kid.
Right.
Now, other people's kids, it's a completely different scenario. Talk back to the parents. Bruh, I saw a post, man. I thought this was so ridiculous and hurtful, too. Mm-hmm. I'm sure to the mother it was hurtful. She bought her daughter a brand new Honda Accord for her graduation from high school.
I saw that.
You saw that? And what did she tell the mama? I don't want this Honda Accord. You could have kept that. I want a Mercedes. What?
She would have been walking.
Bruh. That's what I'm saying. She would
have been walking, but I tell you, that again, it's that entitlement of this generation. Yeah. Generation Z is entitled. They feel like they don't want to work for it and grind for it. They want that microwave success. Exactly. Which a lot of people want the same thing out of relationships. They don't want to work for a relationship because a relationship and marriage and all of that is work. That is time. That is dedication. And a lot of people think that they can just have this nice, flamboyant wedding and then their life is going to be perfect. It's not how it goes. Yeah. That's not the real world.
No, it's not.
Now, I did want to ask you, because I'm going to play devil's advocate. A lot of women are going to say, yes, I want a spiritual man, but I, again, want him to be 6 foot tall and be able to read poetry, to be able to protect me, and to be emotionally intelligent and economically intelligent. I want all of it. What do you say to that to that woman?
I would tell you the following is that, yes, you need to be specific when it comes to the kind of gentleman you're looking for, or if it's a man, be specific about the woman you're looking for as well. But here's where it gets tricky. Of course, God wants you to have what you want, right? And what you need to. But here's where the problem comes in is that you don't want to be the person that would warrant that person even being attracted to you in the first place.
Good point.
That's where the problem comes in. Okay, so you a lady and you want a dude that's 6'5" and in shape and I don't know, goes to the gym, works out. Are you going to the gym yourself?
Right.
Are you in shape?
Right.
Do you watch your diet? I mean, are you being the kind of person that would attract this person into your life? Absolutely. That's the problem. I think that a lot of these relationships are having is that we have these unrealistic expectations, and where the unrealistic part comes in at is that we have this list of qualities that we want in people, but we're not being that ourselves.
Right. So, no, you're exactly right. And just to add to that, that particular man, the percentage of that man is like 1%. So ladies, please listen. If you want that, just understand your pool of men and your percentage of men. And let's just say in America, we're not going to say abroad. Let's just say in America, that is 1%. If you're a black female and you want a black male in that with those attributes, that's less than 1%.
Yeah.
So again, you have to have, whether it's work or whatever, you have to have realistic, measurable, and achievable goals. We know that that's not for the average woman. That's not achievable. let's be honest here. Halle Berry can't even keep a man, and that's Halle Berry. So,
Yeah, that's Halle Berry.
so let's think about it, Jason. If Halle Berry can, and that is a gorgeous woman, then the average woman is probably not going to get that guy. Let's just be
Mm,
honest here. I think it's the same thing for men as well. Now, men, we're a little different. We could care less about how many degrees you have, uh, really how much money you make.
yeah,
For most men, really how tall you are, how short you are. Men want somebody that they can have a great time with and just be able to talk freely. That's really
yeah,
it. Just somebody pretty. That's if you look at the attributes most men are going to list is those little simple three things.
yeah, yeah. And I think the loyalty, of course,
Right.
is really really important.
Right.
But with the guys, though, again with the whole attack from the enemy on people's relationships, there's a tremendous amount of fear now
Yes.
in dating. I mean, you
Yes.
don't even want to date certain people, man, because you got a tremendous amount of fear
Hmm.
about, well, what if she's just using me for my money?
Hmm.
And if it's a woman, well, what if he just wants to have sex with me and then, break up with me? I mean, there's a tremendous
Hmm.
amount of fear now. And I mean, the whole prenuptial agreement, we can have a talk about that in itself. But the most recent case that I saw was Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys,
Right.
broke up with his fiance because she wouldn't agree to it. So what exactly are you setting yourself up for? Are you setting yourself up for a successful marriage by having this prenup? Or are you in fear that your relationship won't work out if you decide to break up with her, get a divorce, and she's entitled to 50% of your assets? I mean, what exactly is the motivation behind the marriage? Is it the faith that you have in her that you're going to have a successful marriage, happiness, kids, and whatnot? Or is it the fear that you have that, well, what if that word, that phrase right there, what if, or maybe is a possibility of something happening. It's not certainty. Certainty comes from God, right? So see, you got God first. You're certain that this woman is going to be with you for you. She loves you. She cares about you. She's going to be faithful in that relationship. But listen, anytime you bring fear into that relationship, it's over before it even starts.
Yeah, I think we're in a toxic world, and if you look at it, 60% of marriages ended up in divorce. And I think it's just now we're in a society where when things get rough, people run, you know,
Yeah.
and it's sad is that way. I think there is a lot of fear to relationships and marriages, and if you look at it, the marriage trend in America has been going down. If you look at the curve, it's
Yeah.
going down, and obviously that's not good from a society standpoint because again, God did create man and woman to be together. The loneliness, uh, you know, the loneliness is attributed to that,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
think it's just something that, like you said, initially that people need to go to God and let God lead their relationship, their life, their work life, everything. But
You know what, man?
Mhm.
Let me say something to that real
Sure.
quick because this is relevant.
Mhm.
We don't have any problem with material stuff. If it breaks down, what are you going to do with it? Especially a car.
Mhm.
You just bought that car, and let's say a month later it doesn't start. What are you going to
Mhm.
do with that car? You're going to take it back to the manufacturer, right? So why wouldn't you consult God, the manufacturer of
Mhm.
your wife or that husband, the creator, if you will,
Mhm.
and ask him, listen, I got a problem with Susie. Give me some advice, or give me the next course of action. What should I be doing with her? Or I need you to talk to her about her behavior because this happen. See, we don't do that. We don't consult God about our relationships. And so what do? We take action into our own hands. Okay, she's acting up. Forget about her. I'm going out with the boys. And, you know, if I see somebody I'm interested in, I'm going to get the phone number. I'm going to hook up with her and do my thing. See, that kind of mentality, man, it creates trauma.
It does.
In relationships on both sides, man.
You're right.
To that point, did you see that Davis video?
Short on I think it's Club Shay Shay.
Yeah.
And again, you know, the toxicity in the culture, and then just people that are lost. That's what I look at. That somebody is lost. Like, you know, you're in a relationship with somebody, and you want to keep the relationship exciting. So you go and you do the what do they call it? The swinging parties.
Yeah. Oh, bruh.
And you know, and he said he was traumatized. Well, because that never should have happened. Yeah,
exactly.
And you have to look at it like, how did our men get to this point where we no longer men anymore? That's not a real man. I'm just saying. That's not a real man. A real man protects, provides. That's what he's supposed to do. If your woman feel like that she is so bored in a relationship that she needs to go to a swinging bar or whatever, club or whatever, that's not the woman for you to be with.
No, absolutely not. And so, I mean, you invite another dude into your bedroom, man. I mean, and Shannon Sharp asked him, okay, so why did you do this? And he said, well, I just wanted to have fun and you know, take my relationship to the next level and see what could take place. Dude. And so what do? You open the door for trauma. That's what you did.
He opened the door to trauma, and he opened the door. I feel like there's certain things you do where you can lose your manhood almost. You know, there's certain things that, you know, God called us to be men, and we to have some respect to be able to stand on things and stand on business. When you do things like that, I feel like you give that up. You voluntarily give that up, and it's going to be traumatic for him. But he opened the door to that. You know, they said you got to make the bed that you got to lay in the bed that you made. You know,
exactly.
But it's sad again that things like that are more on the rise. At least I give him a little bit of props for saying it. I mean, I can't believe he actually would admit something like that. But
I know.
There's a lot of men, I believe, doing that because they either feel like they either are lost themselves, or, you know, maybe it was motivation from their significant other, and they just don't have the whatever to be able to say, no, we're not doing that. We are a couple. Right. We are an exclusive couple. We're not doing that. You know, it's just, again, it's people need to go back to God. People need to follow God, and you know, our society is going degrading further and further. But yeah, I did see that. I thought that was terrible.
Tell you something else I saw, man. This lady who kidnapped this Domino's pizza delivery boy. Kidnapped him and forced him to watch movies. Wow. She had asked him out for a date before. You know, he declined. He wasn't interested in going out on a date with her. So she, with a gun, threatens him, pulls him into her house, and forces him to watch a movie with her. Wow. I mean, dude, how desperate can you be to do something like that for the sake of having a date? That's how loneliness is affecting people now. I mean, to the point where, no, man,
they're doing
it's bad.
Criminal activity. Like she was in the jail it's probably a significant amount of time to go to jail for something like that, as
Yeah.
opposed to working on herself, improving as a person, and then going out and making yourself available to be able to, like you said, be attractable. That's where I like what you're doing with Spirit Link. That
Mm,
is faith, fitness, and it's a great positive dating culture. That
yeah.
you're encouraging people to, hey, get fit, get spiritually fit, get financially fit, get physically fit. Because
Mm,
if you get all of those three things in order, your ability to be able to attract a mate, a soulmate, is going to go up through the roof. And I heard your
absolutely.
show with Dr. Breakthrough that you could have more than one soulmate. So, ladies and gentlemen, don't think that you have missed an opportunity with a soulmate.
Mm,
That
yeah.
you're
Yeah.
old and you can't find a good significant other, because it could totally happen. But like you said, Jason, make sure that you're ready, that you are ready for that
Yeah.
person.
And about the second soulmate is, in the case of Dr. Stan and myself, we're divorced. So, God, I know that God wouldn't have you get married maybe once or twice or maybe even three times and not have another mate waiting on you, who is your ideal mate. I'm sure that people who have gone through a divorce and, it ended up in a separation because maybe you grew apart, maybe you have different pursuits in life that you're going after and you don't have agreement on that. I mean, there's a lot of different factors that go into getting a divorce, right? So, if you did get a divorce, that's good news. Your soulmate is still out there waiting on you to be connected to. But people lose hope, man. And,
Yeah,
with God, there's always hope. So that's my message to people that have gone through a divorce or a separation. That your soulmate is still out there. Obviously, God still has somebody for you.
absolutely. And again, work on yourself. Make sure that you bring something to the table. Make
Yeah.
sure that you're not just asking for the world and you can't even bring some coleslaw to the table. Bring something to the table. Bring something to
Right.
the table. You want a feast. You want the significant other, man or woman, to have you a feast waiting. But all you can bring is the bread, or bring some Ritz crackers or something like that. You bring something to
Yeah.
the table. Bring something to the table, and you can have your list. I'm a single man. I have a list of attributes I want out of a significant other. I think over time, being mature, I've dwindled that list down to the most important things. But it is a
Okay.
list. But I want to
Yeah.
make sure that I'm bringing things to the table. That's why I work out all the time. That's why I
Hmm.
read my Bible. That's why I pray. That's why I work on emotional intelligence. All of that kind of thing. The kind of
Right.
stuff. Now, I want to ask you a question. Oh, we got about 7 minutes, Jason. We're gonna definitely do another part four. But I want to
Oh
ask you
yeah.
this. Uh, there is this thing called, I don't know if you heard, been hearing it on social media. It's called
Hmm.
passport cis. That a lot of women
Yeah.
are traveling by themselves to countries like Colombia and Thailand and Vietnam and Greece, etc. And they're basically saying, "Well, I don't have a man. I'm not going to probably get a man. I'm traveling myself." So it's this,
Mm.
it's now this new thing is, and I'm hearing it called passport cis. What's your
Yeah.
thoughts on this? Do you think this is the next movement?
You know what, man? Not only are the men frustrated with the dating culture right now, but it's the women too. I mean, there's more women than men anyway, right?
Yeah.
So if we're witnessing a movement of women that take it upon themselves again to take matters in their own hands and
Mhm.
travel abroad to meet somebody for a weekend, a week, or whatever. Again, man, you're opening yourself up for demonic influence. And let me tell you something. You go to some of these countries and islands, there's a lot of witchcraft
Yeah.
and a lot of voodoo and everything else.
Hmm.
So listen, you're opening yourself up for an attack, a spiritual attack. Number one, because God, he's nowhere in that your passport sis trip. He's nowhere in it. Or your passport brother trip. He's not in the midst of that. So you're opening yourself up for an attack. In the men's case, oh man, we've seen some of the worst cases. In the men's case, I mean, they wake up dead. So I mean, So
true.
Listen, it's a dangerous thing.
It is a dangerous thing. You're absolutely right. I mean, the ladies that are listening, I'm all for traveling, man or woman. I'm all for traveling and meeting people, new people, getting cultural experiences, expanding your horizons.
Mm.
But ladies, you have to understand, if the men are getting drugged and robbed and worse, it can definitely happen to women. It will definitely inevitably happen to women.
Yes.
Single females that find themselves at a bar or find themselves hiking by themselves. It's gonna happen. And ladies, we have to be smart and we have to be wise and pray. That's not the thing to do. I would not recommend, in this crazy world, I would not recommend, if I had a sister or a mom that traveled like that, I would not recommend that, because
absolutely not.
It's just you're putting yourself in harm's way from a spiritual standpoint, as you indicated, Jason, but also a physical standpoint. Because again, you got to think in terms of what criminals think. They're going to go for the least path of resistance regarding a crime.
Exactly.
And a woman would be the least path of resistance. They could easily rob a woman. It doesn't matter if you know martial arts or not, or boxing or whatever, you're going to be a target. So I would highly say, I would say, don't do it. I hope it doesn't become a movement, because I think we know what could happen, unfortunately.
Yeah. I mean, drug, robbed, raped, killed. I mean,
yeah. Now, I wanted to talk about Spirit Link real quick. We got about 3 minutes. I know you're doing some great things on your podcast. One of the things I want to talk about Spirit Link is, you just tell the ladies and gentlemen again, and we talked about this on part 1 and 2, but again, Spirit Link is so significant because of a lot of things. And can you explain that for the last 2 or 3 minutes?
Yeah, sure. So faith and fitness are a part of a lot of people's values, core values. And so we are actually creating a community where men and women who have faith and fitness as their core values are gathered together in this community. And so we're planning events, parties, retreats. Our upcoming retreat will be between September the 12th and September the 18th. And then our official launch of our dating community, Spirit Link, will be on the 19th, which is actually El Día del Amor y Amistad, Love and Friendship Day here in Colombia, in Santa Marta. So we're really, really looking forward to that. The retreat as well is going to be a transformative experience. It's not a dating retreat. It's a transformative retreat where people can have some transformation in their lives when it comes to releasing anything from the past that has been traumatic, especially. And if they have a current relationship, they can learn how to improve that relationship as well in this retreat.
Excellent. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So ladies and gentlemen, definitely mark that on your calendar. That was September the 12th through the 19th, right?
Yeah.
Excellent. Mark down on your calendar. Make sure that you attend this event. You get a cultural experience, and you could potentially meet somebody that is a perfect match for yourself. Somebody that is, faith inclined and fitness inclined too, which is very, very important. So definitely
we're gonna get the website on the screen as well.
Absolutely. And it's so important. We want to improve the world situation of loneliness. this whole epidemic, and this is one of the ways that it could definitely be improved. Spiritlink.com. Go to the website, check it out. If you have any questions, reach out to Jason Wilson via Instagram or email.
Yeah. And on Instagram, it's spirit.link. So you can also go to Instagram, send me a DM there. I would be more than willing to talk to you about the kind of mate that you're looking for, and we can have a consultation.
Absolutely. Well, Jason, another great show. We definitely do a part 4 in the near future. And any last words before we end the show?
Yes, I want to tell everybody, with God, there's hope. I don't care what the situation looks like, what your relationship looks like, or what your future possibility of having a mate in your life looks like. If you make God a priority in your life, I promise you, he will put everything in order exactly the way it's supposed to be. There's no reason to have depression or anxiety or anything else. Trust God and everything will work out for you.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Great way to end the show. God bless everyone that joined and listened to the show. I want you to continue to follow the podcast. We have some amazing guests in the next several weeks. So I'm not going to even tell you who they are, but trust me, it's going to be informative conversations. So definitely continue also to follow me on Instagram, Cali Colombian Culture. I have a lot of things planned in the near future, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of fun activities. It is summertime, and we're definitely going to get outside and enjoy Colombia and enjoy the beautiful outdoors.
We do have a comment.
Oh, absolutely. Okay. So comment, saying hello from Indiana.
Yeah, this is Coach Carey. Yeah, I was just on Coach Carey's show right before this one. So awesome conversation as well, man. Coach Carey I love her show. I love the experience, and I recommend anybody to listen to her show as well. It was awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks for the great comment. And we appreciate, again, all the viewers. Continue to keep following us. We have a lot in store in this podcast. Like I always say, before we leave, if you want to donate, there's always the ability to be able to donate. You can see it on the screen if you have Zelle or Venmo or Cash App. Any donation is appreciated. We want to make sure we keep the lights on and keep things going and continue to inspire, educate everyone. And obviously, I want to continue to promote the wonderful Cali Colombian culture. So again, any donation would be much appreciated. With that being said, folks, it's been a great show. Always remember to embrace the culture, like the culture, learn the culture, love the culture. It's been a great show. We'll be back next week, same time, Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern time or 2 p.m. Colombian time. So till then, Cali is Cali. See you the next time. Hasta luego.
Take care.
Thank you for watching the Cali Culture Podcast with Jeremy Preston. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you next week for our next episode.